years for something I didn't do, for something I didn't know anything about. Totally innocent man. I watched my father die in a British prison for something he didn't do. He is innocent, the McGuire's is innocent. Let's hope that Birmingham 6 in.
There's not a lot of bitterness in my heart. I feel bitter towards the police who framed me, but I've nothing but time and respect for all the English people who helped me. And there's been so many of them. This is only the start of it, you know. It's the tip of an iceberg. There's innocent people rotting in prison. You're going to see in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, that the Birmingham 6 are as innocent as the Guildford Four.
Well, Sarah, it's been a pretty dramatic week for you. Has it really all sunk in?
Still feel a bit shocked. It has been a dramatic 15 years.
So what are your thoughts this morning?
If they didn't come out of this Old Bailey this morning, my thoughts during the night were it'll take God Almighty out of heaven to come down into this court to convince these people that these young poor people are innocent. That's who it would take, but...
Now, it seems pretty likely that Gerard's coming out today. What are your plans to celebrate?
Well, believe me, love, the way I feel for celebration, my celebration is if I see Gerard walking down those steps to freedom, that he may be able to pick up his life again.
Do you think he will be able to? 15 years has been a long time.
To get yourself adjusted to the outside. He was only a young boy, and now he's a grown man of 35 years of age. So it'd be very hard for him to pick up the pieces. But thanks be to God, if Gerry had served this sentence, he'd have been the same age coming out as his father was when he went in. And it would have been great to see Giuseppe being there along with me this morning. Or if this Giuseppe had still been in prison, walking down, please God, walking down these steps this morning of the Old Bailey.
Right.
But I know Giuseppe was fighting hard up there, and I've said it and I'll always say it. What Giuseppe come through, if Giuseppe's not in heaven, none of us are ever going to reach it.
Hello, who's speaking? Right, I'm only ringing you back to TV cameras on. Just to tell you, it would be at the Old Bailey at 10:30. Right? And for you to have the TV on, have it taped.
Gerard Conlon, Carole Richardson and Patrick Armstrong, all jailed for the Guildford and Woolwich pub bombings, are expected to have their sentences overturned this morning. They're due to appear at the Old Bailey courtroom where they were given life sentences 14 years ago. News of the impending release of the Guildford Four was welcomed at last night's close of the Anglo-Irish Summit.
Do you mind if BBC television? Where are we? bit of rude from Patrick.
Mum.
Okay.
Oh, not a,
Let her through.
hold your head up. You're not going to see it.
You're all right, Mum. Wipe your head up there. Thank you very much, love.
All right, hold your head. This is your morning.
You're all right.
This is your morning.
How do you feel about the case, Mrs. Conlon?
Conlon, take good day. Mr. Russell.
I'll take you about Gerry. I understand you're under pressure.
You really got wrong.
I'm sorry about that. You'll have to wait over there. All right, fair enough. You'll have to wait over there. Sorry? Well, they'll be told we're making just overwhelmed by the whole thing.
I can't believe it's happening. I have to get out. Oh, you're not a good
But we've got to get the house back through.
What's happening now?
What's happening now?
Convictions have been quashed, the plea will be released. I'm just trying to see
What's happening to Paul?
Well, they've gone to Belfast to try and get that sorted out.
Come on, get away, please.
Okay. Jesus Christ, the police state.
Can I come back to that? I've got to go and see Paul. You must be very happy for the three, very happy it's been squashed. There's still an outstanding matter with Paul, which should be attended to immediately. Over the moon, really.
It's taken a long time. 15 years.
Too long.
I'm going to read the umbrella door to get the umbrella. I won't move, I know we are.
You stay there, will you?
Yes.
Right, you
yes.
press legs down to the pen. Come on. Down to the pen. Go on. Come on, pen. Go on, down to the pen. Come on. Come on, down to the pen. Come on. Down to the pen. Mister.
Get back in the
In the pen. No, in the pen. In the pen.
Suppressor.
In the pen. They are in the pen there. Go on, in you go.
John.
Been in prison 15 years for something I didn't do, for something I didn't know anything about. Totally innocent man. I watched my father die in a British prison for something he didn't do. He is innocent, the McGuire's is innocent. Let's hope that Birmingham 6
Thank you.
Okay. Come on. Come on.
Now you come over.
Come
Gerry,
on.
we got your surprise for you.
Oh, you guys.
All right, son. How are you? Yeah, come on.
Oh, God. Come on, kids. Come on over here today. Come on.
All right.
Here, come on. I want to give him space.
What do you want to tell them?
Somebody have a brush to brush his hair. His hairbrush.
But in prison for 15 years or something like that. And at this minute I just can't believe the British justice has been big enough, but it has been big enough to admit that they do make mistakes. I just hope that it'll take it a little bit further. I'm afraid the Birmingham Six, who are as innocent as I am, it's about time if they're gonna solve miscarriages of justice, don't let it just settle at this one. I've been in prison a long, long time. You know when people are telling the truth. Birmingham Six are innocent. The Cardbridge Butter people are innocent. I believe that with every beat of my heart. And I hope it's going to be soon that somebody does something about them.
Will you continue to fight for them, Gerry?
Of course I'll continue to fight for them, because I let Paddy Hill of the Birmingham Six, I lived facing him for 18 months. I worked with him every day for 18 months. He's as innocent as I am, and although I'm happy, it's tinged with a lot of sadness when I think of him sitting in a prison cell. My father died in prison, came over to get me a solicitor, told everyone, the police in Belfast he was coming over, told the police in London he was coming over. He ended up getting sent to prison for 12 years for something he didn't do.
Don't you feel robbed of the best years of your life?
I have been robbed of the best years of my life. I went into prison 20 years of age. I'm 35. I've lost everything. You know, I just don't know what to say. I'm just so happy that the people started to believe in us. I wrote letters for years and years and never got a reply. All MPs, the Lords, everyone I could think of. I was watching my father die in prison. And it's been only through the help of people like Ross Franny, Grant McKee, Robert Key, Ludwig Kennedy, Gareth Pearce without a doubt, Alistair Logan without a doubt, Sister Sarah Clark, some Catholic priests back home from the very, very early days, Cardinal Hume, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
First of all, tell me what it's like to be locked up for 14 years when you know you're innocent.
Horrible. There's not adequate words to describe being in prison for something you haven't done. I used to wake up every morning and look around the walls and ask the same question, what am I doing here? Because I knew I hadn't done it. The police knew I hadn't done it. The judiciary knew I hadn't done it. And I just couldn't understand how I was in prison for something I didn't know anything about.
So how do you keep yourself going when you know you're innocent?
My father died. My father came over to get a solicitor for me. And he died in prison protesting his innocence. And whenever I felt down, and whenever things were getting really, really hard, I don't know, his voice used to come back. You haven't done nothing, son. You've nothing to be ashamed of. Always hold your head high, because you shouldn't be here. The truth will come out in the end. Taken a long time. I never doubted the truth would come out in the end. I just didn't think that it would happen like this.
So did you believe it earlier this week when they said you're going to the Old Bailey again?
When they took me from Gartree, I was sitting with Paddy Hill, one of the Birmingham Six, another innocent man, by the way. And we were talking, and they just came in the shop and they said, you got to go down to London. And I thought it was pre-appeal submissions, things like that. And when I got to Brixton, all the screws were hinting about something that was going to happen on Thursday. And when me and Paddy Armstrong were going, well, we don't know what you're talking about. What is it, a pre-appeal hearing? Or? And they went, don't use no. And we went, no. And they says, well, will you find out in an hour or so? I went on the wing. And the first fella I seen was in Brixton, was the last man I seen in Brixton in 1975. A guy called Freddie Foreman. Fate. And he said to me, he says, Gerry, he recognised me right away. He says, you ain't changed. And he says, you're going home on Thursday. I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, it's been on the news. Ain't you heard the news? And I said, no, I haven't heard nothing. So I sat in Fred's cell. And it came on the news, and I just couldn't believe it. And I haven't had no sleep since. I don't feel tired. I feel elated, but it's tinged with a lot of sadness, because I know that there's innocent people still in prison. I've been from the Isle of Wight to Durham, the length of the country, prisons. I've been moved all over the place. And there's innocent people. This is only the start of it, you know. It's the tip of an iceberg. There's innocent people rotting in prison.
So what is your view of British justice?
My view of British justice, I don't think that if I hadn't had Gareth Pearce and Alistair Logan hadn't been involved in the case, I honestly believe that the judiciary and the police would have closed ranks and they would have concocted a judgment something similar to Birmingham. I think there's definitely a need to overhaul it, because it doesn't work. It's not justice you're getting. It's a perverted justice you're getting.
Because there is talk now that the Director of Public Prosecutions may bring a case against the Surrey Police. What do you say to that?
I would welcome that action. I would welcome a whole inquiry into the operations of the police in this country. Look at the West Midlands. You're going to see in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, that the Birmingham Six are as innocent as the Guildford Four. And it's breaking my heart thinking about Paddy Joe Hill, sitting in Gartree prison, an innocent man, and such a lovely, lovely person. And yet, the judiciary knows he's innocent. The West Midlands police know he's innocent. And I have no doubts that the cabinet, the government of this country, know he's innocent. But if you're Irish and you're arrested on a terrorist political type of offence, you don't stand a chance. You just don't stand a chance. Maybe now that they've been big enough, or maybe that some of them have been honest enough to admit that mistakes do make, maybe the Birmingham Six will be next. Please God, they will.
After so long in prison, what are your views of the terrorism that still persists in Northern Ireland?
Well, I've been so far removed from Northern Ireland. I've been coming over to England since I was a kid. I had no part in anything that was happening in Ireland. I'm an apolitical person, so therefore I'm not going to comment on what's happening in Northern Ireland.
What are you going to do now? What are your plans?
I don't really know. I'll be with my family for a few days. I'll get to know them again. I've never been able to speak with them in private in 15 years. I've always had screws sitting there, listening to every single word, telling me to speak up. So I'm going to have to get to know them again. I'm going to have to get to know my relatives. And I just hope that now that we're free, that the Birmingham Six get their names cleared and the Cork Bridgewater people get their names cleared. I've got nothing but respect for the average English person, because they don't know what their police are doing. They don't know what their courts are doing. So no blame can be attached to the man in the street. But something has to be done about the way the police arrest. Don't forget, I was battered in a police station, battered, and no one would believe me. I think now the public opinion will change.
Okay, thank you very much.
Your six nieces and nephew at home. Can you say hello to the six nieces and nephew at home?
Okay, we'll do...
The 7 dwarfs.
We'll do that one again. Are these all back over the water?
Yeah,
right.
all his
Okay.
nieces and nephews.
Hang on, I'll ask you another question. Well, a lot of your relatives are still over the water in Belfast, watching perhaps tonight. What's your message to them?
Well, Anne's children, and Brady's children, and Martin's wee boy, I've only ever seen them in prison. It's going to be nice to take them for walks and take them places, to be able to enjoy them. I should have had kids myself. I should have been a married man. We're a family. Hopefully that'll happen.
Look. Yo.
To the trail of my dog.
Yo.
The Guildford Four on clear bombings. Reunited with family, one says he's lost the best years of his life. Good evening. The 4 people serving life for the Guildford pub bombings have had their convictions quashed. 3 of them are free tonight after 14 years in jail. The 4th has returned to Belfast to continue a completely separate jail sentence. The Lord Chief Justice, Lord Lane, said that police must have lied at the original trial in 1974. There's now a criminal investigation into the police involved, and the Home Secretary has announced a separate judicial inquiry. Tonight, one of the 3 who've been released, Gerard Conlon, told ITN, "I've lost the best years of my life."
3 of the Guildford Four were to walk free later, but all arrived at the Old Bailey in a manner normally reserved for high-risk terrorist suspects. Outside crowds numbering several hundred cheered and applauded as first out came the relatives. And then Gerard Conlon. His first few steps of freedom after serving half of a 30-year sentence, and now supported by family who campaigned for this moment.
I'm in prison 15 years for something I didn't do. I didn't know anything about. I'm an innocent man. I watched my father die in a British prison for something he didn't do. He is innocent and required to do this.
Compound the tragedy by making other tragedies.
How much of bitterness is there in your heart?
There's not a lot of bitterness in my heart. Anne's children, Brady's children, Martin's wee boy, I've only ever seen them in prison. It's going to be nice to take them for walks and take them places.
The transcript of the trial, and at the end of it, the judge said to the 4 young people who had capital punishment been enforced, you would have been executed.
Carole, could you please just speak a little bit more about your reaction to the evidence which now stands glaringly against the police?
Well, as I've said before, you know, the only compensation we could have is for this matter to be put right once and for all. They must investigate the whole thing. I mean, if there's evidence against the police, then they must bring it before the courts. They must try those people, and if they're found guilty, let them go to jail like our 4 innocent relatives went.
Bravo!
As far as I'm concerned, my reaction to the evidence over there against the police force, let it be dealt with quickly, and let it be dealt with justly. Let them convict guilty people, not innocent people.
The ill treatment of Paul Hill did not finish on Tuesday when the announcement was made. He was brought to London under armed guard with guns pointed at him for the whole of that journey, and he didn't know why he was being brought to London. And it didn't end today either. Any rumours to the effect they're in the building are not true. No. They are not in this building.
Are they going back to Ireland?
No.
Within the next month?
We're not in a position to know what they're doing. They are all just released after 15 years. It's an awful lot to cope with. The campaign are very grateful to all those who supported them. over all the years that it's taken. And initially, the campaigns were launched in a hysteria of anti-Irish feeling in this country, which in fact led to their prosecution in the first place. And then later on, others joined the campaign, and eminent persons such as Cardinal Hume joined in, and we're immensely grateful to him and to all his colleagues who helped. We're also immensely grateful to American senators and congressmen who helped, and to President Gorbachev of the Soviet Union, who took the opportunity of raising the matter at the United Nations. Today is a victory for people all over the world who've stood up for justice for the Guildford Four, and we want to get it for the Birmingham.